Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So working on another Meatloaf episode here. Sunday afternoon here in the shop, and made a trip to the flea market earlier today and picked up a few goodies, and we'll take a look at that. This last week I got some just absolutely fantastic viewer appreciation stuff, so we're going to take a look at some of that. I got something from my buddy Stan Z down in Southern California, and a few other guys. Going to look at Mystery Tool, and what else? Oh, I got a story to tell. So I'm going to tell a little shop story you guys might get a kick out of. It's been up on the board here for a while, and we'll do that. So the way I want to start is, I usually say, hey, well, let's get an apron on and let's get to it. So the first thing I want to show is a new apron. So let's check it out. Okay, so here's a new apron here. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. And this particular apron came to me from my friend in New Hampshire, Mitch Rosen. And Mitch, when he's not making aprons, not making cool aprons like this, he makes gun leather. He does holsters and firearms related leather work. And he is a master craftsman. And anyway, it's already getting dirty. And I'll show all the features here because I couldn't resist pulling it out of the package and starting to use it. So it's about the same size as my old ones. Dual pockets in the front. Got this little leather wear strip right here. Pockets a really nice size. Enough room for a few things. It's got leather trim on it all the way around and on all the edges. This front flap can either be loose so that you don't spill your stuff in the toilet when you go to the bathroom, or you can pin it down if you want. Dual pockets for rules. And then it's got a wide center pocket. This little tab mystified me for a little while, but I think what it's for is that. It's to hold your glasses there. I think that's what that one's for. So nice wide, I don't know, these are 1.25 or 1.5 shoulder straps. Turn this around, you see the straps in the back. And then there's the back strap. Now these are elastic, they got a little bit of elastic to them. So these are different than the normal straps I'm used to, so I'm getting used to that and getting it all adjusted right. Adam, does this apron make my butt look big? Anyway, Mitch, this is just absolutely fantastic. I love this thing. For you guys out there that like the look of this thing, Mitch is actually selling these. He's going to offer them in his lineup. This is a prototype. Mitch bought a lathe, and he and I have been we communicate regularly on lathe operations, and so now he's in the shop a lot. So guess what? He needs a apron, right? So he decided to go ahead and make some, and he prototyped them, and I got one of the prototypes, or one of the first real ones. And I'll put a link up to his website. You can go check him out. And if you want one like this, you can get one from Mitch. Anyway, you'll be seeing this a lot. I'm going to test drive this. It's made out of heavy cotton canvas here. And so I want to wear it and kind of break it down a little bit and get it softened up. But so far, so good. Thumbs up right now. Anyway, what else can I say? This is the ripping apron, okay? So I'm pretty stoked. Anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, so this comes to us from Stan Zinkowski down in Southern California, and Stan is becoming quite the square master down there, and so he made some larger size squares. I think they're just kind of prototypes. He's trying them out. And so 3060s and 45s here. Let's get it uphill. You can see his little logo he's put on there. And these are made out of O1 tool steel and heat treated and ground. And Stan's becoming quite the surface grinding guy down there. So he's got a little Boyer Schultz down there that he's got all figured out, and he's grinding his brains out. And so he does sell these guys. So I'll put a link here. Go check out Stan's channel, okay? And his contact info is right there. You can contact him, and he'll shoot you a price list on squares if you're interested in them. And then these are the ones. These are like these speed squares. They have a little edge on them. I don't have anything to hook on, but you can. They got a reference edge you can hook either on the hypotenuse or on one of the short legs on all of them here. And now these are 5 inches here. Let's see. These are 4 inches on this leg here, and then these are 5 inches here, okay? It's pretty good size. So these are nice for little setup jobs in the mill. And if you do the little trick like Chuck showed us with drilling the vice screw, you can mount these and they can stay in place, and then you can put multiple parts in on the mill, and you know, and not have the angle reference moving around on you. Maybe we'll show that if I got enough time left in this video. Anyway, Stan, thank you very much. He asked me if I wanted these blued or plain, and I asked for plain. And you know, the kind of the bare steel. So he normally puts like a gun blue on these, you know, kind of as a protective thing. But I wanted bare steel in this case. So Stan, thank you very much. We'll try these out. And I've been using the other little ones off and on, and I got quite a collection now. Maybe I'll show my collection here at some point. I got I think the world's biggest collection of Stan's squares right now. So anyway, thanks, bud. Okay, so the next one comes to us from a woodchuck. No, this is Jim Johnson sent me a little package. Actually, a big package, and some of the packing material was some of these oak drops. Apparently, some part of what he does in his wood shop generates these wedges, or maybe he makes them up. It's not quite clear. Anyway, these are nice sizes, and they go to a nice tip there. Wood wedges are always nice to have around the shop, and Jim, thanks for those. Come in handy. And then some bigger ones and some blanks. But that's not the main thing that was in the box. So let's work our way through it here. So there was one of these, and these are nice rulers. They're see-through, and I use these for hand sketching on a pad. I cut them off at an angle, and I use that so that I can draw isometrically. And you guys have seen a little bit of it, I think. There's some in my books. I talk about it a little bit, but maybe I'll do a demo at some point about using one of these to draw isometric views of parts. It saves a lot of drawing time. Anyway, that'll come in handy. That actually, what I do is I get the long ones like this, and I cut them, and I end up with 2 of them. So maybe we'll show that whole process at some point. So Jim, thanks again. And then, so this is the main thing that showed up. I'm like, what the heck is that? So it's a mystery, okay? And it says open after you've figured out what the gray items are for. Now, Jim, you sent me Stan's envelope here, so I guess Stan Zinkowski, shading down in Southern California, got one of these as well. And there's a whole little documentation package here. I couldn't figure it out. Sorry. So I opened the envelope, and now I know what it is, and it makes some sense now. So let's bust this thing down. We use my new handy dandy. So this little guy threw me off too. I'm like, okay, is that part of it or what? I don't quite get it here. And so it was well packed. All right, so maybe the wood threw me off, threw me for a loop. All right, get this thing out of here. He's a wood machinist. That's almost a press fit in there. Anyway, some nice lumber here. This will be a good, as he says, bandsaw push stick. So we'll set that aside. Okay, and then, so I was mystified what this was, and but it's used in this attitude here, like this. Okay, and he sent sample of the work, okay, and this sort of doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's for bending radii in the box and pan brake, okay, and so this fits in where the fingers fit in, and it clamps where the fingers clamp in, and now you have a nose bar that has a radius so that you can take a piece like so and, you know, form a radius bend with it. Okay. Now, Jim, this, you know, I've made these over the years, and this is not generally how I make them. Although this is a pretty cool design, actually, and it's pretty sturdy looking. And then you can move these from position to position. So if we have time, maybe we'll go over and show it on the box and pan brake, how that fits in there, and how that's used. But so that's what that's about. Anyway, in the documentation, there's a little sketch and some other stuff, but god darn it, dry skin here. Anyway, this is from Dries and Crump, Chicago. It shows some of the accessories for that, and so this is where he developed the idea from, and there's a little sketch that he did. So, all right. Anyway, Jim, thank you very much. That's cool. Now I have one. I don't have to make one, and we'll put that to use once I get that brake cleaned up and going. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, so the first one is, I got a big stack of these at the flea market, and these are Popular Mechanics, Mechanics Illustrated, and I think there's some Electronics Illustrated, okay? And so this whole pile here was $5. And when I go to the Alameda flea market, they might ask for $3 to $5 each for these here. And anyway, these this was a pretty good deal here. I just kind of flipped. Let's move these out of the way here. I kind of flipped through a couple of them. This is the one that caught my eye right here. So I mean, okay. So I don't know about you guys, but who can resist this? United States, Antarctic, what does that say? Blah, 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 Alpine something or other, scuba divers, you know, leopard seals. Okay, I'm hooked, right? You could bait a mousetrap with this stuff and I'd get snapped every time. So, but anyway, I put a couple of markers in these of things that are of interest here. So let's see, what was in here? Oh, okay, so this one here is a whole article on Latorno, okay? RJ, what is it? It's RG Latorno, and some of his earth moving equipment and stuff. And here's a whole little article on him, and some of the equipment, some of the engineers. Okay, it's anyway, cool stuff, right? And look, let's build a machine to lift buildings, right? You know, this is great stuff in here. Anyway, if you ever see these at, you know, book sales and whatnot, just grab them, because I guarantee there is something for everybody in these things. So these are like 1965, 66, 65, 67. You know, this is when guys had their workshops in their garage, and they worked on little projects when they got home from work, and it's like I said, there's something for everybody. So here's another good one here, okay? So give your lathe a break. So looks like a South Bend to me, okay, or maybe an Atlas, not quite sure, hard to tell. But some guy designed a little spindle brake, right? So, you know, he got tired of the thing winding down, you know, the whole 3 seconds it takes to spin down or whatever. So he built a little brake, and look, it's got a little parts list. It shows how to make the thing, and some I think there's even drawings on this next page. Let's just take a look here. No. Oh, but there, okay, look, there's something else that caught my eye. It's some little collar closer deal there, right? Okay. So anyway, like I said, there's something for everybody in these things. So if you see them, just snag them. All right, let's keep going here. I don't want to spend the whole deal going through these. Okay. What's in this one? Oh, okay. This is one of Tom's 2 cents worth. So if you're going to learn a knot, right? I think everybody should know a couple of knots, right? And if you say, geez, I can't learn a knot, you know, I'm just not a knot kind of a person, right? Okay, fine. You can tie your shoe, right? Add one more to your repertoire, right? A bowline. If you can tie a bowline, you can do anything pretty much, okay? So just learn how to tie this, learn how to tie it quickly, and you'll be fine. This is a wonderful knot. It's almost as strong as a rope, and it's very easy to tie. You can tow a battleship with this and then still untie the knot, okay? So it's one of these kind of, not self-releasing, but there's a name for it in knot terminology. Anyway, learn how to tie a bowline, okay? That's your homework assignment, all right? So next one, okay, who can resist this? James Bond. Well, this is Cahill, I think, right? This is Cahill, the car test driver guy. And you know, okay, so Goldfinger came out in this year, I believe. Okay, so there's the little chickadee with her gold outfit. Now that's not why I was interested in this one. This one caught my eye here. So here they got the supermodel here, and she's got some kind of sleeve on her arm, and this guy's got a blowtorch on it, and he's frying her arm. Foil envelope of 1/4 inch thick, aerospace insulation, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm hooked, right? I want some of it. So that caught my eye. Let's see, and what's the last one here? Oh, this is great. So when I was a kid, I really liked F4 Phantoms, right? And there's an F4 Phantom, Vietnam era fighter bombers, I guess. Is that right? Yeah. Fighter, and then they had fighter bomber versions of it, I think, so, or attack versions. Anyway, I probably got that screwed up. So that's cool right out of the gate, right? And then look at this. Like I said, there's always something for everybody. Build a printing press, tabletop printing press. How do you like that? So I know somebody that's working on one of these, and look, they got the roll and the lathe. Here's building up a roll out of a tubular section. And then it's got a wooden frame. So, you know, honestly, guys, these are fairly simple machines, okay? And you know, on a small scale, you can do wonderful prints, even if it's made out of wood, okay? In Goya's time in Spain, you know, that's all they had. This stuff was made out of wood, right? And wood cylinders, wood frame, wood hand wheels, everything. So. Man, there's a good drill press. Look at that. That's pretty good. That's an atom-sized drill in that drill press. So anyway, like I said, there's something for everybody in these, and pick them up if you see them. They're excellent reading. Okay, so that was last week's mystery tool, and what this is. And somebody got it, actually. Somebody guessed what it was. And what it is it's a bending tool, and it's used for bending. I'm not strong enough, or this ain't long enough. It's used for bending aluminum strips that fit into corsets and back supports. It's a medical tool. So, you know, if you have a back injury or something like that, or you need support after physical therapy or surgery or something like that, they truss you up in this corset, but they have metal stays in there to stiffen everything, and they have to curve these to fit the contours of your back or your body or your leg or whatever. So, well, anyway, I can't bend it. I don't know if they're this thick. They're probably not that thick, is my guess. But it's a bending tool that probably comes with the corset, is my guess. So there's, you buy a corset, you get one of these, and it's not like you send this home with the patient, right? So you probably end up with a pile of these. And so anyway, that's what last week's mystery tool was. It's a corset stay bender. So anybody has a corset that doesn't fit them right, let me know, and we'll get a bender to you to fix you up there. Okay, so a friend of the family has been watching my channel, and kind of sneak watching my channel, I guess. And I've known this guy for years. Hi Norton, how you doing? Anyway, Norton passed along a couple of tools through my dad, and he said, "Hey, you could put these on your mystery tool thing." Well, it's and Norton, I appreciate it, but these aren't much of a mystery. These are some frickin' scary tools here. Norton is well, he's retired now, but he was a dentist, and so this is a pretty easy guess what these are. Okay, now this one not so much, and I'll talk about this one in just a second here. But this is actually this is a very specific tool according to him. It's for a particular tooth. Okay, so it's a particular tooth extracting tool, and folks, just so you know, when the medical industry puts a handle like this on something with this kind of grip, they're using some force. Okay, so probably not a very pleasant tool. Anyway, this is for a specific tooth apparently, or at least my understanding is. And I don't know if it's right or left or front or back or what, but it's an extraction tool for that. So if you can name the tooth, then you get points. Okay, so there's that, and maybe that's a clue there. Is that 69? 69 or 96? Take your pick. Anyway, these are nice ones here. Can't quite read the name, but it says Germany on it. Stainless steel. Okay, so now these guys here, these are pretty cool. These are little alligator forceps here, and you can see the little tip working here. We were talking about, working down a hole, down a narrow hole, and having to open up to grab something and then come back out through the hole. Well, I have a pair of these, and Norton passed these on to me also. These are nice ones too. Now, I'll tell you a little story about these here. So I took my dog to the vet. I don't know, not the dog I have now, but a few dogs ago, and had a foxtail in his ear, right? So I go to the vet, and so they go, "Oh yeah, it's got a foxtail down his ear." I go, "Okay, how much to get it out?" $60. Okay, $60 to pull a foxtail out of his ear. And I said, "Okay, all right, go for it." So and then I was talking to the vet, and I said, "Geez," I said, how do you, just out of curiosity, I'm mechanically inclined. What tool do you use to do that?" And he goes, "Oh, we use these guys right here, right?" And I said, "Oh, okay, thanks a lot." So what's the first thing I did? I went and bought a pair. Okay, and they were $20 or whatever they were, but I've successfully pulled a couple of foxtails out of a dog's ears. Dog's ear canal is actually, it's fairly straight, but they're pretty deep. So if you can get a hold of your dog and see the damn thing down there, you can reach down in there and you can get a hold of that and pull all the bits out. So those of you guys that have dogs that get foxtails and are so mechanically inclined, just be careful. You don't want to poke their eardrum or anything like that, and you're on your own. Okay, so go and do it. Anyway, Norton, thanks for the tools, and if you guys can guess which tooth that's for, that's you get bonus points for that. Okay, so this next one here, this is for Chuck over at Knolltop Farms. And Chuck's got a little channel. He's just starting to put a few little videos up. But he's not too far from here, and he runs a farm out there in the valley, and kind of near Escalon, California. And he and I were talking about epoxy and resin and some other materials like that. Well, what I wanted to show was I was telling him about these things here, okay, and we make these at work, and what this is, we use a lot of scalpel blades and razor blades and stuff like that, and we throw them in these bins, and you have to dispose of them in a very particular way. You can't just throw them in the trash. So they're sharps, and potentially contaminated sharps and whatnot. We also do epoxy impregnation. So, when you mix up epoxy, you don't mix up the exact right amount, right? You always mix a little more than you need. So this is one way to get rid of the sharps and get rid of the excess epoxy. And so this guy, Jim at work, he makes these things, and they're really popular little paperweights. Guys have them on their desk, to hold papers and whatnot. But this is vacuum degassed epoxy, and he lets it cure real slowly, and there's no bubbles in it, so it's very nice that way. And then all this garbage is potted in there, and it's safe, right? So anyway, Chuck, I thought you might get a kick out of those and checking those out, because Chuck's got a couple ideas he wants to play around with epoxy and composites and things like that he and I were talking about. So Chuck, there's some inspiration for you. People like this kind of stuff, and there you go. Anyway, thought you'd get a kick out of that. Okay, so we got some flea market finds here. So let's see. I don't remember what the order was here. We'll do the easy ones first. Guy had this one. This is a Williams Super Wrench, okay, which is a nice wrench. 7/16. This fits quarter 20 hex heads. $1 for that. It looks like it's been a little bit abused there, but I think we can fix that up a little bit. Anyway, it's pretty nice. $1. Good size to have around. Okay. Next one. Let's look at this. I'm gonna hide the labeling on there. So this is what I saw first, right? So it's a pair of pliers. Okay. It's a pair of pliers. And then I saw this diamond pattern on this, and I thought of Crowder tools when I saw that, because I think they did some of that kind of activity on there. Anyway, these are Craftsman, believe it or not. Okay, so this is when Sears and Craftsman was like a really, really good brand here. Okay, now I don't know if Craftsman made these or they had them made under contract by somebody like Crowder or Proto or something like that, or Plum. But I caught that. These are pretty old, I think. These are a little bit beat up, but they made it into my bag because of this here. They still feel pretty good. And if I wiggle them sideways a little bit, they got a little bit of play, and it looks like somebody might have peened on that just a little bit to tighten them up. The jaws are pretty well worn, but anyway, those were $2 or $4. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. $4. We'll call them $4. So anyway, I snagged those. Okay, and the next one is, and you guys have heard me talk about pullers before. This is a real nice one here. This is an OTC here. Okay. And it's a real small one, a 3-way here, all right? And, this is probably a $60 puller from OTC, just guessing, okay? And this one's got some doinking going on the arms here. It's seen some pulling. But the screw's in good shape. It's not bent. The last one I bought had one of the legs blown off of it, and hey, maybe if I get lucky, one of these arms will fit on the other one, so then I can, the other one was a 2-legged one instead of a 3-legged one, so Anyway, so that was, what was that? Shoot, I don't remember what I paid for that. I got it, it came with something else, so, oh no, that's right, it came with the pliers here. And so this was 10 bucks. That's, now I remember, that was 10 bucks. That's right, because this same guy got $20 off of me, right? And 10 at a time. So I'll show you the other thing here. Is he had this, and this is a Bessie, and this is what they call one of their F clamps. And this is kind of a lightweight version here. This is a 6-inch model, but this is one of the best. I would buy these over C clamps any day of the week now. And although I do still buy C clamps when they're in good shape, you know, and the price is right. Okay, so this was $10, and this was $10. This guy got, yeah, this is my big expenditure for the for the flea market, $20 at one booth. So anyway, well, you know, I just showing this puller here, and so I went and got the other one, and it's an OTC also. And look at that, son of a bitch! Or son of a gun. It's the same arms. It's the same arms. So anyway, now I got two. It says one size 1000, 1010. Anyway, so sometimes you get lucky, right? There they are. So I can trade arms back and forth between these, so I can make this one. I can make this one work. Although it looks like they changed fasteners on this one. I might have to monkey around with that a little bit. But there it is. Look at that score. Well, I thought I haven't told a story in a long time, so I thought I'd tell a little story you guys might get a kick out of. And it has to do with blacksmithing a little bit. And this hammer is sort of a little bit of part of the story as well. And this hammer was given to me by a guy I used to work with that I served my sheet metal apprenticeship with. And this is a little cross peen here. It's a Bedford, made in England, 16 ounce. Anyway, he gave me that, and I was ecstatic. It's kind of a nice little hammer. Used to use the heck out of it. It even has O-rings left on it from that particular shop. We used a lot of this size O-ring, and anyway, made for a nice little kind of grip on that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I needed a prop because that's part of the story. Okay, so this particular guy, he when he was a young lad, he lived in New Zealand, and he was an apprentice in a large sheet metal works down there near Auckland. And don't remember the name of the company, but they did dairy processing equipment and vats for breweries and things like that, large sheet metal structures. Anyway, as part of their apprenticeship, they had to go around the shop to the different areas of the shop, and this was kind of a full-on shop. So they had a foundry, and I think they had a little machine shop. They had a blacksmith. Then they had the sheet metal works in the different areas, and I think they did copper work in one area. So as an apprentice, you went around and you spent a few months in each one of these areas. Okay, so apparently the blacksmith was the most dreaded part of the apprenticeship, because the blacksmith himself was an ornery bastard. And I guess he had a drinking problem, you know, and so he was kind of hit and miss, so to speak. Anyway, so it was his turn to go in and serve his time with the blacksmith, and so he's kind of dreading it. So he goes in and meets, he knew the guy, I guess, because he's kind of working around him, but he goes to work with the guy. And, first couple of days, I guess, is okay. Well, he comes in after a weekend, and he had tied one on or whatever, and the guy apparently used to throw these terrible temper tantrums. So the guy clears his workbench off, and he's picking up tools, and he's throwing the tools. That's why I needed the prop. He's throwing tools all over the place, and screaming and yelling and kicking and just carrying on. And this friend of mine that I work with, this is like, oh my God. So the guy's carrying on for a little while, so this friend of mine, Doug, he picks up one of his hammers and boom, and throws it out the window outside. And the guy stops and says, what the hell are you doing? And he goes, I thought we were working outside. Anyway, that's the story, and apparently that broke the ice with those two, and they became, I don't know, friends or drinking buddies or whatever, right? But anyway, threw one of his tools right out the door and stopped the guy cold in his tracks. So anyway, that's Are We Working Outside? That's the name of that story. So I hope you liked it, and from time to time I'll pull one out of the archives and tell a story.